Good morning, brothers and sisters, YouTubers. Brother Jim reporting here from Red State Watcher. The Senate voted 51-48 yesterday to begin the process of repealing the Affordable Care Act. The Senate voted 51-48 on Wednesday to start the process of repealing the Affordable Care Act. Republican Rand Paul voted no, of course, because he's not really a Republican or conservative. He is actually a bureaucrat because he didn't like the budget attached to the bill. He still wants it repealed, however. From Newsmax, the vote was a procedural motion to start debate on fiscal 2017 budget resolution that would include resolution instructions repealing the 2010 health care law. The Senate is expected to begin the debate on the budget resolution later Wednesday and then continue Thursday.
We are starting today on our work to deliver relief to Americans struggling under Obamacare. We must remember this. This law has failed. Americans are struggling. The law is failing while we speak. We need to reverse the damage that has been done. Then, once we repeal this law, we need to make sure that there is a stable transition to a truly patient-centered system. We want every American to have access to quality, affordable health coverage. All of the things that Obamacare has kept from the American people, more choices, more control, more freedom, we want to put them back in their hands. We know that things are only getting worse under Obamacare. This is about people paying higher premiums every year and feeling powerless to stop it. It's about families paying deductibles that are so high, it doesn't even feel like you have health insurance in the first place. And in so many parts of the country, as you've always heard, even if you want to look for better coverage, you're stuck with one option. One choice is not a choice, it is a monopoly. The healthcare system has been ruined, dismantled under Obamacare. The answer here is not to ignore the problem. The answer here is not to ignore the problem to keep some failed legacy. The answer here is bold action. Solve problems. Bring relief to Americans. We will help Americans crying out for relief from Obamacare, and we will keep our promise to the people.
Of the people, for the people, and by the people. Donald Trump. And we're going to make America great again there, Chuck Schumer, you goofball. Anyway, CNN panelist blames Donald Trump for torture in Chicago. Let's blame Donald Trump. F white people, F Donald Trump, they said. Black Lives Matter thugs torturing mentally disabled or mentally challenged or mentally retarded person. CNN panelist Symone Sanders struts her stuff of reprobate, blames Donald Trump for the torture of a white man by 4 black thugs in Chicago. This is the kind of depravity we have in our society nowadays, that we would blame the President of the United States for what black people do, torturing white people. Sanders stated the incident was not a hate crime because it did not fit the criteria. Of course, reprobate. The incident was recorded on Facebook Live and 4 suspects have been arrested, but it's not a hate crime. Even though he was forced to say, forgot what it was. F white people and F Donald Trump. It's not a hate crime, even though he's forced to say F white people. It's not a... Can you believe this nonsense? You gotta be kidding me. And of course it comes from Clinton National News Syndicate, still pushing their lies. InfoWars reported, according to CNN contributor Symone Sanders, the main culprit behind the attacks is Donald Trump. Quote, I just want to remind folks that we cannot sit here and ignore that, at least for the last year, on very public display. The worst parts of America have been brought from the fringe into the mainstream. End quotes, Sanders told CNN's Don Lemon. Quote, so that affects people on both sides. Oh yes, it affected the pot-smoking, drug-infected reprobates who beat him, who cut his hair. It affected them so bad that they had to get arrested. Ouch. While they posted their profuse crime on Facebook. I wonder what Zuckerberg did to them. probably didn't even ban them, the leftist reprobate himself. Quote, we've talked about white nationalists and white supremacists and the KKK, but they're also, when this inflammatory rhetoric is out there, when someone is repeatedly telling you that your community is the worst of the worst, it brings out the worst of the worst in people, end quote, she added from the reprobate. When Lemon said the attackers probably, quote, never watched the news, end quote, Sanders responded, quote, y'all have to give young people more credit than that sick is, she said. Really? They're not just young people, they're adults over 18 by law. Quote, everybody knows who Donald Trump is. Sanders also asserted that the attack wasn't a hate crime, commenting, quote, was this for hate for Donald Trump because of the things he said? So what we're doing here is we're the mother harlot of abominations through the black people, through the reprobates, is getting you to believe that hate crime is not even a hate crime anymore against white people. It's not. It doesn't matter what we do or say, we are not guilty, no matter what. It's all Donald Trump's fault. Because, see, Donald Trump is the only thing that's stopping us from wiping out Christians and Jews and Israel. So, anything that anyone does in hate for Donald Trump is considered not a crime. That's right. That's what they're doing. That is not a hate crime, she added. Hate crimes are because of a person's racial ethnicity, their religion, their gender or disability. It isn't your political leanings because someone doesn't like your political leanings and they do something bad to you. That is not a hate crime. It's not a hate crime when they do something bad to you. Amazing, isn't it? Amazing.
4 black teens under arrest in Chicago in connection with the beating of a white teen. The suspect shouting anti-Trump slurs as the attack was broadcast on Facebook Live. Let's discuss now CNN political commentators Peter Beinart, Alice Stewart, and Matt Lewis. Also Simone Sanders, a former press secretary for Bernie Sanders. Okay, so listen. There's certain things that I can't say that it's a hate crime because Chicago police won't say it. They're saying they're still investigating it. They're not they're not done with their investigation. But when you look at this, Simone, they're saying F white people, F Trump. How can you say it's not a hate crime against a white person?
So first I want to say this is absolutely sickening. It's unfathomable that so much hate and anger can fill up a person where they go out and they...
So much hate, but it's not a hate crime. So much hate, and I think it's disgusting, but it's not a hate crime. Amazing, isn't it? Reprobate. Well, the Bible tells us that it's a shame for a woman to not have a covering over her head. She is a shame.
They think that this is okay. And then it was stupid to do it on Facebook Live, but that's a whole nother story. So this is absolutely sickening, but I'm going to say something that's probably not very popular. We cannot callously go about classifying things as a hate crime. Motive here matters. So
okay, I've heard enough of your stupid remarks. I don't need to listen to another word of it, and neither does my listeners. Breaking suspects will be charged in Chicago torture incident. Everything, well, at least they're going to get charged. Everything about this incident was wrong. If the races were switched, Chicago would be on fire right now. That's right. That is not even exaggerating. If it was white on black, it would be on fire. That is not even an exaggeration. They'd start burning and looting everything. The persecution of the white man is number one by the global elites. Folks, you need to get that in your mind. It's all about persecuting the white man. Why? Because the white man is what controls America. It's the white man who supports what is right. I'm sorry, it's not a racist statement. But look at what Donald Trump's doing, and look what Obama did. The AP reported charges are expected against 4 people who police say beat a man in an assault that was broadcast live on Facebook, Chicago police said. The victim is a suburban Chicago resident who Police Superintendent A.D. Johnson said has, quote, mental health challenges in a news conference Wednesday. Johnson described the video as sickening. It makes you wonder What would make individuals treat somebody like that, he said. Well, investigation began Monday after Captain Steven Sasso, said officers found a man who, quote, was in distress and was in crisis, end quote, walking on a street on the city's west side. The west side of Chicago always been dangerous. The man was taken to a hospital and it was later discovered that he had been reported missing from an unidentified suburb. More winning, though, for U.S. jobs. Let's hear some good news for a change. The numbers of people receiving unemployment benefits tumbled to 2.1 million. Washington reports from the AP. Number of Americans seeking unemployment benefits dropped significantly last week, a sign of robust job market. The numbers weekly requests for jobless aid fell 28,000 to seasonally adjusted 235,000, the Labor Department said Thursday. That is barely above the 233,000 jobless claims achieved in late November, the lowest weekly total since 1973. The less volatile 4-week moving average for claims fell 5,750 to 256,750. During the past 12 months, the number of people receiving benefits has tumbled 5% to 2.1 million. It's always good news. Win, win, win with Donald Trump. Thank you for listening.